I would like, actually, I think I would just want one. If I can just get one card and see what that would be about. Judgment. Judgment. Actually, I want to show you this. Judgment, and then we have justice down here on the bottom. I get these frequently together. Oh, this is touching back on that feeling of unworthiness, that smallness that they try to instill in us. It's a feeling of unworthiness. This is definitely hitting on that. Because I really think that this combination for me that I keep getting is about not just me, but also the universe acknowledging that I'm walking into a new life that better reflects how I should be treated. I accepted a lot of poor treatment in my past that I did not deserve. I was one of the overgivers. Also, the Justice card reminds me of like karma, and I believe a part of the thing I agreed to do when I came here was address a karmic cycle. I don't want to talk too much about it, but just for other people's privacy, but I think I came here to shift a lineage away from a pattern. And I recently, very recently actually, I just did that. I just did that when I left my job. And like I wasn't even aware of it. I was not aware of it at all until it happened, and then all of a sudden it, like, I could see it. What that looked like for me was, with everything that's going on in the world right now, with all the stuff that's coming out, and everyone seeking justice. Everybody wants justice. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the idea of an afterlife not being just the way some religions view it. And I just think if that situation were to come about where we are faced with proof that that's not what happens, that's going to be really painful for a lot of people to realize that they are never going to get justice. Like the justice they might be waiting for on the other side isn't coming. And as soon as that thought came up in me, like I got like just the tiniest little flicker of anger, and then it was gone. And I think at any other point in my life, I would have been like enraged, even though I didn't believe in anything, but just the thought of the injustice of that. But what quashed that flame, like it extinguished it so fast, was I was in that process of manifesting my freedom, and I was like, I don't give a what. I don't care about that. I care about my freedom. If I have my freedom, that doesn't matter anymore. Because the justice isn't going to set me free. that's not going to set me free from that burden, from all the baggage that came along with that. I want to be free from the chains. And the chains are in my mind. So I definitely was not aware that I was carrying around this attachment to justice my whole life. Because I think I just wasn't paying attention to it. But as soon as that came up, I released my attachment to justice like that. And what a relief that was. And this whole time, like every time in therapy, it always comes up about forgiveness, and I don't resonate with that word. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, that never made sense. But I think that my experience of this, in these terms, in this verbiage, it is probably parallel to what other people call forgiveness. I really hope that helps somebody, because it was such an empowering moment for me that I really hope that I can help give other people that. Like, that was huge for me. Yeah. We have the Three of Wands here. Typically represents expansion, and the wands represent spirit, spiritual world, inspiration, creativity. That is what I'm working on right now. That was something that was on the other side of my attachment to justice. It was my ability to grow past it. Like, not past it, but my ability. It was no longer limiting me. It wasn't limiting my ability to grow, in at least in some certain specific areas, I suppose. And I am in the process of seeking out experiences that are more fair to me. In thinking about everything being a mirror and reflecting back to you, reflecting parts of yourself back to you, in accepting less than adequate treatment of myself, I was accepting that as my truth, that I was only worth that. But, and I definitely had this, again, I don't think I was aware of this, but I think I had this hope that I would find somebody who would treat me the way that I deserved to be treated. Yeah, I definitely did. I was looking outside of myself for that treatment, when in reality I needed to look inside, and I needed to be the first one to treat me the way that I wanted to be treated, so that everything around me would reflect back that treatment. I hope that makes sense. So as I treat myself better, what I see in the mirror is going to treat me better. And things that don't match that, they're not my reflection anymore. Just walk right by them. Walk right by them as easy as it is to walk by a mirror and know that you're not looking at yourself, you're looking at someone else. Yeah, boy, I was stuck in that. I was stuck in that junk. I don't know. I don't know how the counterpart to my player in that game is going to fare through all of this. There's nothing I can do about that, though. Here I am concerned, like I'm thinking about that, and none of them would ever spend time thinking about me. Here's that fly. But that's okay. I'm okay with that because that's who I am, and I like who I am. They liked who I was too. Even then, before I was the better version of me, they liked me then. They saw the value in me that I didn't see in myself. And they thought, I want that for me. And then they started siphoning away everything that I would give them. This is noteworthy, actually. After I left the last relationship, and I felt like I got all of the parts of myself back that I had lost in that relationship, I realized that everything that I liked about that person were qualities that were mine and not theirs. I was seeing the things that I liked about myself in that person because I couldn't accept them, because they didn't match my view of myself as being smaller than I am, less important than I am. Like, how often, like, do people get into relationships thinking that this person that they're spending their time with is kind, but really it's them. They're the kind one, and they're projecting their own kindness onto that person. I felt bad, actually, for that person when I left, because when I walked away, and I took all of myself back, I felt like I left that person with nothing. Like they had nothing left, at least not anything that I wanted. And that's pretty sad. I suppose if that's who I was, I would look for someone like me too. I would be drawn to my light and to my kindness, for sure. For sure. Oh, I wish I had stopped getting 2 cards at once. Hurtful events. As you endure this period, learn not to dwell on the past so I won't anchor you down. Were we talking about that this time, or was that the one before that I had to stop? This dang fly, somebody somewhere is benefiting from this. I'm assuming it's not just me. Oh, and then we have highest good. Embrace the journey with openness, trusting in the universe to lead you toward your greatest fulfillment. So I'm just going to take that as extra confirmation that this is helping someone. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I want to look at this. Let me show you this card. This is kind of wild. He's on fire. It's, yeah, the dwelling on the injustices that I lived through in my past definitely weighed me down, but that occurred so early in my life that I didn't know any difference. And I don't care if that sounds like an excuse. I didn't have anything to compare it to. So that heaviness, I didn't know I didn't know how heavy it was until it was gone, until I walked away from this idea of getting justice and the idea that justice was going to set me free. I think that's really important right now. And I think that there's a reason that I went through that when I did. Because I don't think we are not going to see justice the way that we want to. There's going to be a lot of people who don't get the justice that they deserve, maybe. Yeah, I'm okay with saying that. They're not going to get the justice that they deserve. But they can get the freedom they deserve, and that is so much better than justice. If I could go backwards into my life before all this disruption, and I could get justice but not be free the way that I am right now, I would not take that deal. No way would I take that deal. Putting chains on someone else doesn't make me lighter. Highest good, embrace the journey with openness, trusting in the universe to lead you toward your greatest fulfillment. My greatest fulfillment. I have a very, very strong desire to affect change in others' lives, in other people's lives for the better. After I graduated my bachelor's degree, I went and I worked in a group home for seriously mentally ill adults for a couple of years, and it was such a rewarding job. It was very rewarding. Ooh, I'm feeling compelled to tell you something that I definitely hesitant to say this. Definitely hesitant to say this, but because of my history with dissociation and all right, we'll just go back to that sentence. Because of my history with dissociation, I was able to see so much of myself in them. I feel like I should say that it was unsettling, but what I want to say is that it was comforting. Yeah, I suppose it was comforting because I always felt alone in my mental health struggles. Like nobody else could ever relate to me. Like, I know I remember feeling this, but I'm like, I in the struggles that I went through, I wanted to be alone in it because I wanted to be alone in it and to be the only one experiencing that, because if I had company in that, or if I wasn't alone in that, that meant that somebody else had to go through that, like whatever I was going through, in those times, like the depression and the level of just how deep that darkness went. So that kind of contradicts that, feeling comforted by the fact that I wasn't alone was a contradiction to hoping the experience that I was having was unique to me. I kind of don't feel like I need to spend much time on that. Let's see. Okay. We'll go with that one then. Reveal, may openness lead you to connection. That, I think, it wasn't this part. It was the other half of this video I filmed before. I said like this was what I got. Yeah, maybe I'll put this on the end of that one to make this make more sense. May openness lead you to connection. I definitely contradict myself all the time with the idea that I like being alone and that I want to be alone, but also that I want to help other people, because in order to help them there has to be some sort of connection. So there's a discrepancy there for sure. Yeah, it's kind of like I want to help at a distance because that is safe for me. I'm safe here. I'm safe from you over like here. Yeah, yeah, it's really easy for me to say, you know, yeah, it's easy for me to say not to like let past patterns interfere with your relationships as I sit here alone talking to people in a recording, not even live, in a recording that I might not even post on the internet. I might have a hard time editing these. I think I'm gonna struggle maybe a bit, or maybe I won't. Maybe I shouldn't tell myself that. But I'm thinking about my poor boundaries in the past and how am I going to go about protecting myself in the future as I edit these videos. How am I going to use my discernment to protect myself in a self-loving way first before I extend my truths out to you? Because that's been my lesson these last couple of weeks is you know, prioritizing my well-being for the first time in my life, really. This seems a really big way to test me right out the gate. Shoot. I'm kind of at a loss for words here. Just the change was so big. I mean, not only big in like a distance between, you know, point A and point B, but big in terms of high. Like the higher I go, the harder I fall kind of thing too. So it's like this, it's expansion. It's expanding exponentially. If I mess this up and I don't prioritize myself, I'm not going to be falling from here. I'm going to be falling from up here. That's not intimidating at all. I need to trust that I'm going to make the right choice, because I can't imagine, in all of the ways that I've been led around, like not led around in a like a leash kind of sense, but in all the ways that I've been guided by the universe, it has never been in a destructive way. So I have to trust that I'm being guided towards something that I'm ready for.